let me take you back to second grade real quick. Your whole class has just won a pizza competition from the entire school. So while they all have to eat cafeteria food, you get to eat pizza for the day. But here's the catch. Your whole class has to agree on one type of pizza. You can't have cheese and pepperoni and pineapple and ham. You can only have one. So your class decides to take a vote. 70% of the class votes for pepperoni pizza. 20% votes for cheese. And then there's this little pocket of students, 10%, who end up voting for pineapple pizza. You would assume 70% votes for pepperoni, you'd eat pepperoni pizza. Well, that 10% that voted for pineapple, their votes actually matter a whole lot more. It sounds ridiculous, but this is actually how our government works too for presidential elections. In this speech, I'm going to be talking about the Electoral College. I'm going to be talking about the issues, some reasons for those issues, and some possible solutions that we could have to help our system. So, the issues of the Electoral College. One issue about it is that it does not reflect what the people want. In an article from Politico magazine from January of 2019, it stated that Donald Trump got 101 votes from 6 states that he didn't even win the popular vote in. He did not get 50% of those states' votes, but somehow he got the electoral votes, which actually matters more than what caused him to win the election. How does the president win those votes without having the people's support? This occurred actually again from an article from Time magazine stated that Bush won the 2000 elections against Al Gore. We all know this, but did you know that Al Gore actually got 500,000 more votes than Bush did? 500,000 more Americans wanted Al Gore to be their president than they wanted Bush to be. But somehow Bush won the 2000 elections and became our president. This obviously conflicts against what the people want, yet we still have it in place. Another issue with the Electoral College is that there's unequal voting amongst different states. Say, in an article from NHPR.org from October of 2020, Christina Greer, a political editor for New York Times, confirms that in Wyoming, one electoral vote counts for 193,000 popular votes. But in California, one electoral vote counts for 718,000 popular votes. One vote counts for about 3 times as more people in California than Wyoming, which means that a vote in Wyoming matters so much more than a vote in California. And then once you take in political parties of the trends of which each state votes, you find that Republican vote in Wyoming counts more than the Democratic vote in California, seeing as those are the trends for both of those states. And another issue with the unequal voting is the sense of winner takes all. So if 50% of California flips blue, then the whole state is blue, meaning that those Republican votes don't matter anymore. They don't count towards the election, which is an issue for people's choices. All right, now that we talked about the issues of the Electoral College, I want to go over some reasons that we have those issues. First off, we have the Electoral College because of our founding fathers. In the textbook I actually used for my political science class, We the People by Ginsburg, that was published in 2018, the founding fathers wanted an electoral college because they thought that having just popular vote would lead to too much democracy. They thought it would be easier to just have one representative for each state to vote for the presidential elections. So it wouldn't be too messy, there wouldn't be as much voter fraud, they wouldn't have to count every single vote, it would just be a lot easier. And so this is why we've had this set up. Well, obviously more electoral votes and everything, or more electoral college people have been put onto the board to vote. So it's become a lot different than what it was at first. Another reason that we have these issues of people's votes not mattering is because of gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is when you separate states into different sections, and those votes in each section will what's count towards part of the electoral college. So, but these lines can be drawn to manipulate the votes. So you have 50 votes for Democrat, 50 votes for Republicans. You can actually, you can redraw these lines to make one the majority over the other, even though they have the same exact number of votes, and that is a big issue. And so then another reason we have the Electoral College is so that so that the presidents would have to campaign for each state. They wouldn't have to just go for the big states where they would win the most votes and get the popular vote to win. They have to go for those little states who don't have as many people. So they can appeal to all and get the votes from all. Even though the popular vote doesn't matter, it ends up being the electoral vote that matters in the end. So there are solutions that we can take to end the Electoral College supreme over the presidential election, even though we've had it for all this time. So the first solution we can do is actually get rid of the Electoral College, to ban it, which is supported by the American Bar Association. They say it would take a lot of support from the Supreme Court and a lot of guidance, but it can happen. Look, we already go through registering to vote, going out to the polls, voting, and then they go through and they count every single vote, so we know what the popular vote is. Why go the extra step of having an Electoral College vote? We can just stop there. We can have poll workers from each side of the political parties, so they're unbiased, and count it together so they make sure that we have the right number of votes and so that it does not end up being voter fraud. Another solution that is brought up in Politico magazine again from January 2019 is that the president can't get the electoral votes until they've won the popular vote. So in that instance where Donald Trump won 101 votes from 6 states, he didn't get the popular vote, that wouldn't be able to happen anymore. The president would have to win the popular vote to get the electoral votes, which is fair and would solve the issue of the people not being able to express their voice in it. And then from another solution is actually being planned in Michigan. And I got this from Detroit Free Press in November 2020. So Michigan is actually having 2 separate electoral college votes, 16 Democrat and 16 Republican. And whichever wins the majority, so if the state flips blue, the Democrats will go and place their votes. And if it flips red, the Republicans will go and place their votes. Therefore, ensuring that what the people want is who is going to get those votes. And that's awesome. And then a solution that I came up myself was new gerrymandering laws. So it would actually just have somebody who does not know voting trends at all go and draw the lines, therefore it is not biased. They won't know how to manipulate the lines to get what they want in the election, which would be better because then there's no bias and no way for somebody to win that actually didn't get the votes. So I talked about the Electoral College. I went over the issues as, for example, people's voice not being reflected in the elections. I've gone through the reasons, the Founding Fathers not wanting to get too much democracy and have it being too messy. And I've gone over some solutions, such as Michigan's plan to have 2 different electoral colleges. So tying back to my pizza party scenario. In the end, if we ban those 10 students having a more effective vote than the rest, the whole class would end up having pepperoni pizza, which is what the kids wanted, which is what the majority of the kids wanted. So we would have no tyranny of the Electoral College in that situation. Thank you.